Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to every Sierra Leonean. This is now the voice of the young man, BARBATOV, from the Council of APC Media Bloggers. Sierra Leoneans, our will continue for patient to the Ecowas Parliament. What did happen? What did happen at Ecowas Parliament? As I talk to you now, by God your own power, Sierra Leoneans then, they must get justice. They must get power back. Yeah? Now listen to the presenter, now Ecowas who they represent the matters then. Yeah, this not to the young man they talk about. This not the presenter. Yeah, they will not listen to the man himself.
Of the recommendation contained in the white paper. Other milestones taken by the government so far include the enactment for pertinent legislation such as 1. The Victims Reparation Act 2023. This act established the reparation fund to finance individual and collective restitution of victims, provide compensation and rehabilitation directly to the victims. B. Mutual Legal Assistance Act 2023. This act enabled cooperation between the Gambia and foreign law enforcement agencies in investigating and prosecuting crimes such as requests for assistance in obtaining evidence and witness, among others, victim and providing rehabilitation to victim. C. Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023. This act seeks to prevent and eradicate the use of torture and other cruel, inhuman treatment of acts of torture. And D. Ban on Public Office Act 2023. These acts provide a legal framework for the banning of those adversely mentioned in the report of the CRRC from holding public office. And EU Social Prosecutor Office Act 2024. This act seeks to establish the office of the Special Prosecutor, which shall be tasked with investigating and prosecuting cases involving in a serious human rights violation identified in the TRC report from July 1994 to January 2017, providing for the protection of witnesses, victims, whistleblowers, fostering a national culture of accountability and respect of human rights, and enforcing the Gambia's obligation under national and international law. F, last part, special accountability mechanism.
Una going to talk on the labo. This na the presenter they present the program, the cases and so. Una don't hear Sierra Leoneans. Una want resolve. Una continue for pray for the council. Una mama salon. Yeah.
Act 2024. This act provides a framework and guidelines or guiding principles through collaboration with Ecowas and international partners to implement recommendations of the TRRC and to prosecute serious human rights violations. Meanwhile, although prosecution of those who bear the greatest responsibility are yet to commence fully in the Gambia, there have been notable international convictions. In November 2023, Leone was found guilty in Germany court on charges of crimes against humanity, murder, and attempted murder for his role as a driver for the junglers and murderer squad under the German regime. Leone was identified as a driver on the night Dede Hydra was murdered. Furthermore, in May 2024, Osman Sonko, a former Minister of Interior under the former President Yahya Jammeh, was handed a 20 years prison sentence by the Swiss Federal Court of Bellinzona for crimes against humanity. These convictions are important as they set a precedent for the international justice, demonstrating that those who commit heinous crimes cannot escape accountability regardless of where they are. They also serve as a crucial step towards justice for the victims and signal a commitment to upholding human rights and rule of law. Fight against corruption. The 2023 Corruption Perception Index by Transparency International ranked the Gambia 98th out of 180 countries that is 98 position out of 180 countries. This is 12 position improvement from the previous year where the country was ranked 110. The government has made notable effort, especially during the past year, to address corruption and promote justice and accountability within the public sector. This is evident by the passage in December last year, the Anti-Corruption Act 2023 by the National Assembly. This simplified legal framework is expected to prevent, detect, and punish corrupt practices in the country. The government is currently working on establishing a commission that will handle the implementation of this act. Meanwhile, in October 2023, the Ministry of Justice filed indictment against a senior government official and officer of the civil society organization in connection with the mismanagement of the 2018 Global Fund grant provided in the Ministry of Health. The charges include official corruption, economic crimes, theft, forgery, and conspiracy connected to the use of Global Health Fund grant allocated to the Ministry of Health. This is the COVID-19 assistance. Additionally, following court proceeding that commenced in 2021, the government in March 2023 secured a conviction against a former permanent secretary in connection with receiving bribe to facilitate the release of fishing vessels that had been arrested by the Gambian Navy for violating fishing laws and regulations. Currently, the former Minister of Lands and Regional Government, Honorable Sirif Abasanya, is also undergoing trial for 27 counts of economic crimes and forgery. On the health situation, mandatory tests for COVID-19 for returning pilgrims. In the Gambia, the government of the Gambia effort not to rest on the laurels in the fight against COVID-19 in the Gambia. The Ministry of Health has announced that all arriving pilgrims from the 2024 Hajj shall be subjected to a mandatory test for COVID-19 using a rapid diagnostic test, RDT, upon arrival at the airport in Banjul. The measures is essential to ensure the safety of pilgrims and the border community at large. Gathering can significantly increase the risk of virus transmission. By implementing this mandatory test protocol, the ministry aims to detect and contain potential outbreak. By protecting the public health and maintaining the progress made in controlling the pandemic. National Task Force on Kush. Early this year, precisely in February 2024, our border has been infiltrated by a deadly drug called Kush. A national task force has been set up to combat its circulation. The drug has claimed about 11 lives over the past 4 months, with 9.7 fatality rate. In June 2024, the task force reported 20% increase in clinical cases and 7 new deaths within the month linked to the drug. There have been 113 cases reported from 44 communities in 6 districts in the Gambia. The task force has intercepted 107 individuals, including nationals from Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Guinea-Conakry, and confiscated 6.03 kilograms of kush. Most cases involve male 30% of whom are under 22 years old. And common symptoms include restlessness, swollen tongue and lips, and drooling. Ecowas Free Movement Protocol. The Gambia continues to comply with the Ecowas Protocol on free movement of people and the rights to residents and establish. The Ecowas Passport Biometric Card has been introduced. Visa-free movement of community within is being observed, while the 90-day stay without resident permit is also being implemented. The Gambia has also adopted the Ecowas travel certificate in line with the provisions of the Free Movement Protocol for its national without passport and where they cannot travel with identity cards in the region. Ecowas Trade Liberalization Scheme, ETLS. The government of the Gambia is committed to the implementation of the Ecowas Trade Liberalization Scheme since 2006 under the National Approving Committee as required by Ecowas. The Gambia has registered several enterprises, 19 of which are currently active that export under the scheme. The ETLS is expected to enable Gambian producers to access the sub-regional market without worrying about tariffs, which is a major barrier of international trade. However, one of the major challenges continue to be the non-tariff barriers experienced in the ECOWAS member states, as well as the lack of non-recognition of the ECOWAS protocol by member states. As part of the activities to increase public knowledge and awareness about the ETLS scheme, the government of the Gambia, through relevant ministry, Besides this, the Ecowas Commission sends advocacy mission to individual countries to sensitize the private sectors on the benefit of the ETLS. One sub-team visited the Gambia in November 2017. The Ecowas Interstate ISRT, the National Trade Facilitation Committee, is very much active in ensuring that the implementation of the scheme by facilitating the transportation of transit goods through the Gambia to other countries in the sub-region. Since July 2014, the government has made it mandatory for the transit goods to be transported under the ISRT scheme. The objective is to facilitate the movement of transit goods in an efficient and cost-effective manner to promote the transit trade in the country. So far, the scheme is fully operational and the government is strengthening collaborations with the neighboring countries for effective implementation of the scheme. There are still some challenges in implementation, and these include limited compliance to the protocol by some member countries, as well as lack of real-time tracking system for transit trucks. The real-time tracking system would have helped to enhance the security and to facilitate the easy movement of transit trucks that passes through Gambia ports and then throughout the country. Ratification and implementation of ECOWAS protocols and convention. The government of the Gambia has ratified 43 community protocols and conventions out of the 54. These ratified protocols and conventions are being implemented. Efforts are being made to ratify the remaining protocols. The table below shows all those protocols. Commitment to protecting the rights of women and girls. Currently, there is a part of the bill entitled Women Amendment Bill 2024 under the consideration of the National Assembly. The bill seeks to lift the ban placed on the long-standing practice of female genital mutilation or circumcision, arguing that the ban is inconsistent with the constitutionally guaranteed freedoms to practice one's culture and religion. The tabling of this bill has generated significant nationwide interest and as well as attention from the international community, with a strong opinion expressed both and against the bill. It is the position of the government of the Gambia to protect and uphold the rights of every citizen, particularly women and girls, and has maintained the position that the harmful effects of FGM outweigh its benefits. This brings me to also inform you that with the intervention, or last week, the Parliament has voted out the bill and rejected its repeal of the FGM practice in the Gambia. On the 8th of July 2024, the Joint Committee on Health and Gender has reported a referral given to them by the Parliament on the proposed Women Amendment Bill. The committee reported its repeal emphasized that FGM practice is harmful for women and girls, and as well as violation of fundamental human rights. This report was supported and adopted by the plenary. Status of implementation of community programs and projects. The Ecowas Regional Stabilization Fund. The Ecowas Fund for Regional Stabilization and Development for fragile states is on course in the Gambia as it runs from 2022 to 2025. The fund has registered significant achievement, which includes the following. 1. Reaching over 1,300 young people, including migrant returnees, through networking, dialogue, and information system on migration and sustainable integration. 2. Giving businesses starter kits, 842 entrepreneurs for use in poultry, fishing processes, and agro processing and micro enterprises. 3. Introducing the innovation Nepal fishing smoking stove in the Greater Banjul area and the Upper River region as URR. To at least 6 women groups consisting over 120 members across the region. 4. Training 115 migrants on mental health and psychological support in each of these 3 regions of the country, LRR, the URR, and the Greater Banjul area. 745 of both in and out of school, youths on life skills, and 32 trainers and coaches now qualified in the SME loop methodology. Economic and social situation. The economy. As reported by Central Bank of the Gambia in February 2024, the Gambian economy continues its resilience, registering a growth rate above the average for sub-Saharan Africa, with a real GDP growth of 4.8% in 2023, supported by agricultural and service sector. To this end, the economic growth was forecasted at 5.4% for 2024. Preliminary balance of payments estimates show that the current account balance deteriorated in 2023, registering a deficit of 7.0% of GDP for a deficit of 4.4% of GDP in 2022. The goods account balance widened to a deficit of 32.2% of GDP in 2023 compared to a deficit of 31.5% of GDP in 2022. These service accounts balance registered a surplus in 2023, benefiting from the strong recovery in the tourism activity. The foreign exchange market remained vibrant and with stable activity volumes. The cumulative volume of transactions in the domestic foreign exchange market in 2023 stood at $2 billion, slightly lower than the $2.5 billion in 2022. Total remittance inflow increased from 3.5% in 2023 and stand at $737.1 million in the year reported. The currency continued to be stable, depreciating only modestly year-on against the major international trade currencies in 2023. They depreciated against the US dollar by 3.8%, Euro by 10.8%, and Great Britain pounds GBP by 12.7%, and the CFA by 14.2%. Activities in the interbank market continues to be strong. Total volume of interbank transactions rose to $14.1 billion compared to $10.4 billion in 2022. The weighted average interest rate prevailing and the market increased from 4.2% in 2022 to 7.5% in 2023, following the 3-month Treasury bills rates. The banking industry remains strong and stable with healthy financial soundness indicators. The industry risk weight capital adequacy ratio stood at 28.6% in December 2023 compared to 24.4% reported in December 2022. All the banks were within the regulatory requirements of 10%. The banking sector liquidity ratio increased to 82% in December 2023 from 63.7% reported in December 2022. The annual money supply grew by 9.3% in December 2023, higher than the 6.6% in September 2023 and 7.7% reported in the same period a year earlier. Growth in the annual reserve money continues to accelerate increase.
So me famule majority cut and small when I able for listening. One for tell una say anything na the world technology there. Yeah. They can't see election. You see now you win election, we can't see farm. We don't make back.